Hi and welcome back. My name is Lola. On this channel, I talk about my experience with OCD. Today, I would like to talk about reassurance. Please note, as usual, that I'm not qualified to provide you with any advice, and I'm only sharing my personal experience on this channel. Also, I have a washing machine running, so please forgive me for any noise. I hope that doesn't interrupt this video. If you are familiar with OCD or you already have OCD, you probably already know about reassurance. But today we would like to explore a bit more. So first, let's take a look at the OCD cycle that will appear over here. So as you can see, the cycle starts with an intrusive thought, with an obsessive thought. And as mentioned in previous videos, those thoughts are uncontrollable, they're unwanted, and they just pop up in your brain. And it can be something from maybe I said something offensive to am I a bad person to what if I ran somebody over with my car. Next, an OCD sufferer experiences anxiety. And of course, it's not a surprise. If you think that you might have offended somebody or you have hurt someone, that's pretty unsettling and very stressful. To get rid of this anxiety, people with OCD perform compulsions. And it could be a wide range of compulsions, and it really depends on a person with OCD, whatever their compulsions are. It could be tapping, it could be counting, it could be researching internet for hours, it could be asking other people, which we will get to in a moment. So for example, if you're feeling like a bad person, you could be tapping 18 times just to get rid of that feeling of being a bad person. Or if you worried that you hit somebody with a car, you can mentally review your whole drive, every turn, every move you took, just to make sure that you didn't hit anybody at any point of time. And of course, there is a space for another sneaky compulsion, which is reassurance. So in examples that I provided earlier, reassurance seeking would look like coming up to your friend and asking, hey, do you think the joke that I said was offensive? Or if you're worried about being a bad person and you feel like a bad person, you would ask your family, hey, do you think what I did makes me a bad person? Or if you are worried about, running over someone, you could ask your friend, ask them, hey, you were with me the whole drive. Do you think I accidentally hit anybody? Have you seen anything? On the one hand, it seems quite innocent because all of us check in with our loved ones from time to time, asking them, hey, do you think the joke was offensive? Hey, I don't think he likes me that much. What do you think? It's pretty normal. Of course, we don't ask them every time we drive a car, do you think I hit somebody? That's already ringing a bell that it's not something usual. But the difference between those questions, those checking in with our pack, and reassurance is that usually those questions are asked once. And once you get that confirmation, like, hey, no, don't worry about it, that joke was fine, or yeah, he might not like you that much, but do you even care? I mean, you only see him once a month. We just done with it, right? We get over it. It's not something that is stuck in our head, and we accept what we got from people and we go away. The reassurance seeking doesn't work that way. Reassurance seeking is not satisfied with one question. It could be multiple questions, either the same one over and over, or a bit of a sneaky, reformatted question that is asked over a long period of time. Checking in questions are also more reality-based. Like there is a base in reality why we're asking those questions. They don't have the undertone of, do you think I'm a bad person? Do you think I physically hurt somebody and I don't remember it? These are not reality-based questions. So to research why, I actually looked up a few articles on CBI that I'll link in the About section of this video. However, I will not be able to just provide citations of it by heart right now. So what we'll do, I'll read to you, and then you could also, of course, read it yourself from the link in the description. So, William James attributed symptoms of the questioning mania to a pathological excess of doubt. Pierre Janet explained the exaggerated need for precision and perfection in perceptions and actions in his patients as the means of compensating for a lack of certainty. Modern clinicians have also appreciated this aspect of their patients. Shapiro wrote that patients with OCD have an inability to experience a sense of conviction and doubt not only in their cognitions but also in other internal states. Rappaport described patients as disbelieving their senses and thus needing continuous reaffirmation. And I apologize if I pronounce any last names wrong. So I'll link this article in the About section. Please give it a read. Hope that helps. So as you see, the main underlying cause of reassurance is intolerance of uncertainty. If you yourself doubting your feelings, your thoughts, your perceptions, then you have no other choice than going to other people so they confirm your feelings, your thoughts, and your perceptions. Even me saying that right now, that sounds very unsustainable. Like, leave out the part that you shouldn't go to other people to affirm your feelings, thoughts, and perceptions, apart from very rare cases, when maybe you felt quite negative all day and you don't know if you perceive some event as negative just because you in that state or whatnot. Apart from those rare checking cases, you should be pretty confident, or at least affirm yourself in how you feel, think, and what you perceive. And for OCD sufferers, that's no easy task. If your brain works differently, how do you do that? That's complex. I want to validate that, and I'll also prepare another video about reassurance seeking and how to stop it, stop that compulsions from happening, and how to, try to reassure yourself without going into another compulsion where you're just mentally, trying to confirm with yourself that you're a good person and all that. That's for another video. But apart from that being unsustainable, right, there are all other issues with reassurance seeking. So let's break them down. So one of the issues is putting trust in other people's opinions. And usually OCD sufferers reach out for reassurance to their friends and family. But sometimes, of course, we're busy, they're not available, right? So for OCD sufferers whose anxiety is through the roof, they might even go to people who they don't know that well. Either way, if you know a person or if you don't know the person, giving them that power to make that final judgment, if you're a good person or you're a bad person, is not rational. Asking someone to confirm if you did something or you didn't do it, if you are something or you aren't, it's just giving away your power and succumbing to OCD. The next issue is, as I mentioned, it's not sustainable. Your loved ones are happy to provide you with support. And of course, seeing you in pain like this, when we really love somebody and we see them in pain, we want to do anything in our power to alleviate that. So of course they will answer your questions. Of course they will, take that ride on a train for the millionth of time if you're a bad person or not, and will remind you of all the good stuff you did and how good you are and all that. But if your reassurance seeking is a lot over the days, the weeks, the months, if it happens every day, if it happens not every day, once a month for 4 hours or whatnot, it really drains your loved one's energy. And I know none of us wants to burden our family and friends, and we only do that from a place of overwhelming anxiety and fear that we can't cope with. But in the long run, providing reassurance daily, weekly, monthly, if it's a lot, it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable for our loved ones. It's not sustainable for us either, because we don't learn how to cope with our anxiety. And we also can really strain our relationships with our loved ones. So some of my family and friends who already know about my OCD, and they can kind of see that there's some reassurance seeking behavior happening, and that I'm ramping up for all those sneaky questions. They would just address it right away. They'll just say, hey, I'll only answer this question once. And they do it once, and they don't answer it for the second time or third or fourth. By the fifth time, I don't really have the mood to keep poking them with this question. Some of them also address it right away in a different way. If they're not in a space where they can even answer one question, they just don't want to go there. They don't want to go there today. They'll just say, sorry, but the shop is closed today. And I know that they feel bad for me, and I know that they feel for me, but they do not have the energy to attend to this anxiety right now. And that's fair enough, because, I am responsible for my disorder. I have to say that's not a pleasant experience as an OCD sufferer. Of course, many times I felt quite resentful. I was like, oh, okay, you don't want to answer the question. Good for you, for setting up the boundary, right? It's not pleasant, but it gave me some space to actually find my own ways to cope with it. And once I'm out of OCD attack, I totally respect that decision, and I totally understand what happened. And I'm really grateful that my family and friends set up those boundaries, because it really helps us have a healthier relationship. We don't fall into this codependency trap where every time they have to, run to me, answer a million questions, and keep saying that I'm a good person or whatever, especially if 2 weeks later or whatnot, and maybe hours later, I'm over that obsession. What a waste of time for everybody involved, right? So I also want to address that, it's not a pleasant situation to be in. In general, it's not a pleasant situation to be in having an OCD. Let's start with that. It is not. And feeling like you have to confirm, again, your feelings, thoughts, perceptions with another person. Why? Of course it's unpleasant. I totally understand. Unfortunately, that's the cards we were dealt. So there's nothing to do apart from learning how to deal with it moving forward, and ideally, putting more responsibility on ourselves rather than other people, not only because it can damage relationship, but also because they might not be available for your reassurance seeking. And the biggest issue with the reassurance seeking is that it doesn't work. And you can say, what? But I do feel better when I ask and I get the answer. But no. Like 4 hours, maybe for a minute. In some cases, you ask a question, you get an answer, 2 minutes pass, another scenario in your head. Well, what if this? What if that? What if this? What if that? And then, no, it doesn't work. And if you're questioning this statement, think back yourself, at the point where you were reaching out for reassurance. And when you were reaching out to your family member or your friend or your partner, and you asked them a question and they provided you with an answer. And maybe hour, day, week later, other thoughts start creeping in. Thoughts like, oh, maybe they answered this because they don't know the whole information about the situation. Now I have to go back and give them all the details and then get their answer. Or maybe you think, oh, but they didn't look like they listened to me at that time. So maybe they just, they just didn't hear about the situation, or they didn't hear what I was saying and they missed really important details. So I have to go back and ask them again. Or maybe you think, oh, well, they were in this good mood or bad mood or whatever, and so they gave this answer, but it doesn't really mean anything because now it's a different day, different week, different hour, different minute, And did it help you? I really doubt I really doubt that it did, because reassurance seeking doesn't work. And let's look at the cycle again, right? Even after alleviation of anxiety, another obsessive thought pops up. It could be either different obsessive thought or it could be the same obsessive thought. And the whole cycle of OCD starts again. And why? It's because the reassurance seeking confirmed that you're dealing with something real and something scary. It's a compulsion. It's not a tool. It's not something that can be helpful in managing your OCD. It's just a compulsion. And as any compulsions, it really restarts the cycle of OCD. Overall, if we have to rate the reassurance, let's give it 2 out of 10. Why 2? Because it does feel good in a moment, even if it's for 5 seconds, even if it's for a minute, even if it's for an hour. When you're dealing with overwhelming anxiety, all you want is just to get rid of it. Get rid of it. I don't want to feel like a bad person. I don't want to think if I ran somebody over with my car. I don't want to keep thinking that my joke was offensive and somebody got really upset over it. I don't. Please relieve me. Anyone, anybody, please tell me and I can be relieved. But reassurance seeking doesn't work. It takes away your power to deal with OCD. It also not sustainable. So if you'd like to look at the resources that I cited in this video, as well as some recommendations for dealing with reassurance seeking that I'll be covering in the next video, but if you want to take a peek at them earlier, I'll include them in the About section of this video. If you like this video, please like this video. And if you want to see videos like this in the future, please subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate that. I'd be glad to see you next time when we will be discussing how to alleviate your anxiety without succumbing to reassurance seeking. Thank you very much. Have a great day and take care.